Welcome back to our ongoing coverage of these elections in the northeast states, which may seem small in size, but the electoral repercussions of which are huge. And those pictures are from earlier today from Agartala, where the BJP has made history by ending 40 years of left rule, 25 years unbroken, 40 over a period of 4 decades. And there will now be a BJP chief minister in Tripura, and we'll talk about who that could be very shortly. But those are the leads at the moment at the bottom of your screen, and let's just quickly run you through where the leads position stands for these 3 northeastern states where it seems advantage BJP in at least 2 out of 3. So BJP, they're sweeping in Tripura, 41 seats starting from a base of nothing, and the Manik Sarkar government crashing to a big defeat. Only 18 seats. In Nagaland, it is the BJP ally, the NDPP, which is ahead with 30 seats, just about touched the halfway mark. The NPF, which is also its ally, not ally, is at 25, and they're also happy to go with the BJP. And Meghalaya is the only state where the Congress considers itself still in the game. It's lost the majority there. It's at 21, so it's actually slipped by the hour. It seems like it's slipping, moving further and further away from that halfway mark. And these are some pictures coming in from Meghalaya of celebrations. Who's celebrating exactly? We can't tell. Those look like Congress flags from here at the moment, but there are a whole host of other flags as well, other colors, indicative of perhaps the kind of result that Meghalaya is heading for, some kind of a fragmented coalition government. Political managers of both parties are on their way, or perhaps already in Shillong, to try to get through to that last mile. Let's start off by going live to my colleague Ratnadeep, who is joining us from Tripura, but we'll wait to hear from him just yet in just a second to give us an idea of what exactly is happening there. But let me just go across to panel here and just get everyone's views that the possibility of now Biplav Dev, is that correct? That he is the BJP state president in Tripura, and he is now likely to be the chief minister. That's what everyone's saying.
Yes.
Does that seem likely?
Yes, it would seem very likely, considering he's a very popular face. He's a very young leader.
Right.
He's extremely popular in the state. But there are several people in the party who worked extremely hard, who have more political knowledge and stuff. So
but tell us a little bit about Mr. Dev's background. I believe he himself comes from an RSS background.
Yes. Biplav Da actually stayed in Delhi, in Jhandewala, at the RSS headquarters about 20 years ago when he came to Delhi for the first time.
Right.
He's gone back to Tripura very recently. He's just been president for the past 2.5 years.
Right.
And he's been in Tripura for the past 4 years. He carries no baggage with him. There is no political liability that this is what he did in the past. Very fresh face, people are very excited to meet him and see him and talk to him, because he represents the aspirational youth of Tripura.
Okay, he represents the aspirational youth of Tripura. Shobha Oza, before we let you go, would you at least congratulate the BJP for their performance in Tripura, if not in Nagaland, and also congratulate the presumptive chief minister of Tripura, were it to be Biplav Dev?
Yeah, definitely. It is a victory for the BJP after 25 years of left government there. In fact, the opportunity which Congress could have had was snatched by the BJP because of the hard work of RSS there. Definitely the credit goes to the BJP. At the same time, I would say that for Congress, we should work hard in Tripura, and we should it is an opportunity. We should start from the scratch, and now we should build our organization there, so that for next elections we are ready to form a secular government there. And as far as Nagaland is concerned, yes, BJP is depending on its allies.
Yes.
And Meghalaya is concerned, I am quite confident that we will have a government there.
All right, well, we'll have to wait and see, because the situation is very fluid and very fast evolving. So almost everyone here feels that Biplav Dev is the best person, most likely to be. When I say best, I meant just in terms of like the likelihood is the greatest for his becoming chief minister.
What I would like to mention is the BJP has made some tall promises in Tripura.
Right.
And it will be a very tough job to implement those promises.
Right.
You see, for example, the 7th Pay Commission, knowing the finances of the northeastern states, including Assam, this implementation of the 7th pay commission, for example, would mean investment, I mean lots of funds, which
Right.
the center
It's going to
has
be a challenge.
Yeah, it's going to.
Also in Tripura, you tied up with this, with this tribal outfit, the IPFT, and they've been, of course, asking for a separate, almost like a separate state. And they are known to have, in fact, they come from a fairly, a controversial background. So, do you feel that this is all going to be a problem going forward? I mean, now that you won the election, you have to resolve these contradictions.
See, the issue at the base of all this lies about their identity and protection of the indigenous culture.
Yes.
If that can be taken care of within this framework, I don't think...
Which framework?
Framework of within this government.
Okay.
Within this government, if it can be taken care of, I don't think they'll pursue that.
No, but
IPFT.
suppose they insist on a separate...
no, they have already made it clear that they want a separate state.
They want a separate state. Tripura
See, that is what...
land as it's called.
the alliance was formed on that
that is what
basis.
I am saying. If their aspirations can be taken care of within the setup, they probably may leave that.
But I think if you go into the breakup of that 41, the BJP has enough to go it alone. So they might not necessarily need...
I
them
don't
and they
think
can drop them
BJP is
if
a
it becomes inconvenient.
kind of an outfit which leaves its allies.
So
in
therefore,
cold.
the implementation of
I
this
don't
from
know.
poll promises would be a
But
tough
that is
one.
interesting though, that if you want, you can go without them. You have the numbers. This is almost like we're back to a 2014 situation where the BJP was able to get a majority on its own. It had its allies, it took them along.
Yes, it
What
takes
those
them along.
allies now feel about it is another matter. We won't get into that debate. But you're saying you're not going to let go of IPF, you're not going to drop, they're going to be part of the government.
See, that is for the BJP to make a call.
But you feel that
but
it's
I
unlikely.
But I feel that their aspirations can be taken care of within the larger Tripura.
Okay, let me just quickly, I'll come to you in a second. Let me just go across to my colleague Amitoj Singh, who joins us from Congress headquarters. Now, Amitoj, any word you're getting from where you are in the Congress about what the Congress is attempting to do in terms of trying to put together numbers in Meghalaya and Shillong?
Well, thanks so much for that lovely question, Vasu. It's a tough one to answer, simply because I don't think the Congress itself knows what it needs to do now. And I'll tell you why. Because for the last few hours that I've been here, since 7 in the morning, the overwhelming feeling has been within the Congress that, yes, the left will win and we will have the single largest party and we'll comfortably sail through out here in Meghalaya. So we'll be all right. And even if the BJP, it seems, wins in any other place, which they have, that would be fine for us. But now the left has lost. The BJP's won there, and of course we know what's happened in Nagaland and Tripura both. Now, but Meghalaya, it also looks like it's going to be a tricky situation. Now, this morning, I can tell you this, that I tried the numbers of both Kamal Nath and Ahmed Patel. Kamal Nath's number at some point at 11 o'clock was not reachable, which means he was on a flight. At about 1 o'clock, it was reachable. It rang, and of course, he didn't pick up. But the information that I got from his team, that I managed to speak to, was that yes, he's gone there. And I spoke to Oscar Fernandez and Ashok Gehlot. Ashok Gehlot's interview we played out a short while back, and he also made some important points. But both said one thing, and that's really important. I think we need to focus on that a bit, Vasu, because what they are saying is that we will form the government. They're not saying they're going to become, they're going to win single-handedly. They have been insistently saying that they will form the government. The question is, who will they form it with? As you've been saying, and as our anchors have been saying beforehand also, that it's going to be difficult because all parties are likely to join hands with the BJP. And in that case, the Congress is going to be in a tricky situation. However, and I can say this again and again, because I've been speaking to a number of people, Vasu, they've all been saying, we will form the government. It seems like something's cooking. What is cooking in this Game of Thrones, especially with Amit Shah around? I really don't know.
Okay. Okay, so we'll wait and see how that plays out. Meanwhile, Ratnadeep, thanks for joining us. I believe you are at CPM headquarters in Tripura, is that correct? I mean, given the fact that it's completely deserted at the background, I assume that's where you are.
That's right, Vasu. I'm coming to you live from the CPIM headquarters in Agartala. This building behind me used to be the seat of power for 25 long years, but today a history has been made, a political history has been made in Tripura, and the BJP is coming to power, and the left regime is getting over, and you can see here dead silence there is not a single person outside the office. Some of the top leaders are inside the office. I did request some of them to come live with us, but they refused. Chief Minister Manik Sarkar is still in his constituency Dhanpur. He would come back to the state capital in the evening. So completely dead silence in CPIM headquarters here in Agartala. Perhaps they are also in a state of shock that they perhaps could not imagine that they would lose Tripura in such a way.
Okay, and as far as now the possibility that Biplav Dev is of the BJP, the state president, is going to become chief minister, are you hearing the same thing as well from the ground there?
That's right, Vasu. In fact, his name had been doing around right from the beginning of the campaigning, although there are other potential candidates. But the fact that he, along with Sunil Devdhar, had built up the party base in Tripura for the past 4 years, and this evening the BJP parliamentary board would meet, and moreover there's a lot of following for Biplav Dev. His popularity has increased over time. He was not a known face at all in Tripura. Even 3 years back he was in Delhi and he was not part of state politics. But look at the political scenes now. We did talk to a lot of youngsters in our previous live broadcast an hour back, and they said that they favor Biplav Dev as their next chief minister. So I think that would be the choice of the party as well, Vasu.
Okay, and also live pictures coming in from BJP headquarters in Delhi, where again crowds have gathered. We are told that the BJP President Amit Shah is already there. Remember, this is the new BJP headquarters that's just been inaugurated. The Prime Minister also expected to go there at 6 p.m. as has now become his wont after election results. Perhaps may address party workers there as well. You can start to hear some of the drums as well there. So celebrations for the BJP today, but of course the mood very different in the Congress and the CPM. Shama Mahmood of the Congress also joining us on the show. So Shama, I guess the question that is going to haunt Congress spokespersons all day today as to how you've got yet another election terribly, terribly wrong.
Vasu, my name is Shama Muhammad and not Mahmood.
Oh, so I beg your pardon, Shama Muhammad, I correct myself.
I didn't get you. Yeah. Yes. So it's an. See, you have to understand one thing is that the Bharatiya Janata Party is an excellent election winning machine, and I congratulate them today. It's a fantastic performance because they were not there. They've been winning. They won decisively in, I think, Tripura. So what I'm trying to say is, yes, they are an election winning machine, but politics is not just about winning, it's also about governance. Now the states which they have won in the past, like Haryana, Rajasthan, UP, we know what is happening out there. Complete misgovernance is happening. Yes, they have won, and that's because of their cadre strength. They have an excellent cadre strength, and that's what we need to introspect, the Congress party. Wait, let me just finish. And also what we have seen with the Bharatiya Janata Party and PDP in Jammu and Kashmir. Number 2 point is, like you have mentioned, they in Tripura itself, they have to be with the IPFT, who wants a separate land. Are they going to agree with it? There is the NPP, which wants the Garo land in Meghalaya, which they have a tacit agreement before elections. And of course, right now, they would try their best to come to par there. But what I'm trying to say is that, are they in agreement with all this? Is election is just about winning, or is about governance?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day,
and I agree, we need to look into our grassroots.
But elections are also about winning. I mean, look, why do you fight elections? You presumably fight them to win. But Shama, wouldn't you concede? No, but wouldn't you concede that you didn't even fight these elections? As everyone has been saying here, in Tripura, the Congress was never in the fight. It had more or less seceded to the CPM for years. In Nagaland, again, barely put up a fight. Rahul Gandhi barely paid attention to the states, is not even here today. So you just threw these elections away. Is that wise?
See, you have to understand, Mr. Gandhi just became the Mr. Gandhi just became the party president, and you're going to see a lot of changes. Mr. Gandhi believes in grassroots level politics. He believes in people working hard.
Right.
And he is going to see, he just became the president this elections, and you are right, we should have been much more aggressive. I agree, we were not aggressive enough. We have to be much more aggressive to fight a Bharatiya Janata Party.
Okay.
And we need to increase our cadre strength, and I believe that whoever is in charge of a state should start eating, drinking and doing everything possible with the state 2 years in advance, and not just 2 months or 3 months in advance. So yes, we are at fault. We have to be more aggressive, and you will see the results in Karnataka.
Okay, that's fairly candid, coming from a Congress spokesperson. But to the point that she's making, and we were speaking about this earlier, and perhaps we should talk about what next rather than just get into the politicking. There will be contradictions and problems that I suppose any any party that's come to power will face when you come in on the on the back of so many promises, right? Not all of which you can necessarily implement.
No, I think you make lots of promises. Not all promises can be fulfilled in one particular election.
Sure.
And I think if you talk about Tripura, the nationalists, the IPFT has already said that although they are demanding the separate state, nobody takes it seriously, including themselves.
Right.
It's in a way to energize the cadres.
Right.
I think so
that's not really going to be a big problem for the BJP moving forward.
But I think in terms of the effect,
yeah,
Meghalaya and Nagaland are not going to affect the national politics. But what is important is the fact that in the election in Tripura, the campaigning was done primarily by Brinda Karat, who is supposed to succeed Sitaram Yechuri.
Right.
And now they have been decimated in Tripura, and they will be further decimated in Tripura. Now the question is it the end of the CPM from the political landscape in India? And if it is the end of the CPM from the political landscape in India, then obviously it will have an impact, because the only place where they are a little bit powerful is actually in Kerala.
Yeah.
So they are not a force in
only Kerala is left. Is Kerala now going to become the big target? You feel this is going to energize you in Kerala? You can't really link the two, because the two units are very different.
No, you can link the two, because
you're saying?
Yes, you can very easily link the two, and I believe.
But how is that? Because in Kerala there is a rollover. It's not
a
only
rollover.
LDF. It's like Manik Sarkar was just there for so long. But in Kerala there are changes.
If you look at the vote shares are continuously increasing for BJP out there,
right?
And that is going maybe not in the next term. Who knows in the next term as well?
Yeah.
Who knows? But the vote share is continuously increasing. And secondly, about what Shama Mohammed was saying, that it is about governance.
Right.
But governance only comes after winning, and if they are not willing to win, that means they are not interested in governance. They have left at it.
Okay, Shama, you wanted to respond to that.
No, what I meant, he is misconstructing my statement. What I meant is that, yes, you're winning elections, but you can't govern. We have seen in the center itself. Where is governance in the last 4 years? What have we got? None of the states. Complete breakdown of law and order in Haryana. There are been a lot of, in Rajasthan we saw what happened with Karni Sena. What's happening in UP with these
Karni
encounters?
Sena was supported by Congress. Everybody
knows. Distress in Maharashtra.
Everybody knows Karni Sena was supported by Congress.
Vasu, one other important point is,
yes,
what are you saying? Come on, please don't put
words
in my mouth.
It has come out in public domain.
In Manipur last year for the elections.
It has come out in public domain.
All right, let us finish.
Can I just finish? I did not interrupt you.
Sure, carry on.
Go ahead,
Shama. Go ahead.
Please carry on.
Let me finish. I don't like to interrupt.
Go ahead, Shama. Go ahead.
They support, the Bharatiya Janata Party supports the Karni Sena. The Prime Minister did not say a single word when the school bus was attacked. Why couldn't he come out if he was not supporting the Karni Sena? So please don't put words in my mouth. He should have come out that particular day and said this cannot happen in this country. Innocent children were attacked by the Karni Sena. So yeah, so let me put my number 2 point. In Manipur last year, he said that 90,000 crores would be for building up roads in Manipur for the last elections. Now in this time's budget, nothing was there about it. He made promises to Bihar, was there. He made promises to Jammu and Kashmir in terms of the funds coming from the center. Sure. What has happened to all these promises? That is what I'm trying to say. This is how, when the party is in the center, they give promises and they try to win elections. Now, if you look at 2004, after we won, we have won also states. So there is always that part that when the power is in the center, it will happen.
Okay, let's get them to respond. Okay, Shivam Shankar Singh. Okay, Shivam Shankar Singh, if you were to take
and look at Andhra Pradesh right now. The Andhra, they are their own Telugu Desham.
Let's stick to the northeast. Let's not move too far away from the northeast. because we rarely, give the Northeast this kind of attention. Shivam Shankar Singh, the point though is that if you were to take it state by state, if you were to take it state by state, if you were to look at, if I can just ask you about, let's, because we've spoken about Manipur quite a lot, but if you were to look at Nagaland, for example, I mean, the fact is that for a government that claimed to have solved the Naga problem, quote unquote, during the campaign there was no reference at all to this great accord. And even today we don't know whether there was an accord or there wasn't an accord.
So a framework agreement has been signed. It's not a completed accord, it's a framework agreement which basically lays down the terms on which an accord will be based. The issue is that
but that's the problem. There's been no clarity on what this framework agreement has since it was announced now. It's been what, almost 3 years now, 2 years since they announced it?
So as the interlocutor himself has stated, it's still a work in progress.
Even the basic framework is not explained.
In the future.
I mean, it's something.
Guidelines.
No, it's not a question of guidelines. It's on something which the Home Minister Rajnath Singh did not have any clarity, and Ministry of Defence had to seek clarification whether ceasefire rules will apply or not apply.
Yes, so nobody really knows what it is, and we still don't know what it is.
One thing to say.
Okay, I have with me. I just need to go across to Samrat Chaudhary, a senior journalist who is joining us from Shillong. Sorry to keep you waiting there. Just to ask you, Samrat, what are you hearing at all about all the now maneuvers that are doubtless taking place in Meghalaya over the formation of a new government? What do you make of it?
I guess they're all playing their cards now. It's too soon to say what is going to come out of it. We know that Mr. Patel is here, and also that Himanta Biswa Sharma is either arrived or on his way. So I guess it's going to be, since we have a split verdict, it's going to be both sides trying to make the numbers any which way they can.
Okay, but what is the likelihood, you think, in terms of some of these smaller parties that are clearly going to be key? We'll try and in fact get you the breakup of the others and put those latest numbers up on the screen for you. But parties like the UDP and the PDF and so on, which way do you think they'll be inclined to go?
Well, I would imagine that the chances of them preferring the Congress are less.
Okay.
I would say that the BJP starts with a bit of an advantage in putting together.
But the BJP has an advantage because it's showing right now that the UDP is at 6, the PDF is at 5, so they together themselves, just the two of them, are 11 seats. And you add that to the NPP, which has 15, so that comes to 26. And then, of course, the BJP currently is at about, what is it, about 4. So yeah, so that takes you to about 30. So it's going to be very, very tight, but it will require that entire lot to shift. And you're saying though that they are, Samrat, that you're saying that they are much likelier to tilt towards the BJP at this point.
I'm not saying I'm not saying much likelier. I'm saying that this is my best guess at the moment based on the histories. Because for example, some of these people left the Congress as they had differences with the leadership of former Chief Minister, current Chief Minister, Mr. Sarma.
Right.
So basically the chances of them gravitating in that direction would seem to be a little less.
Okay. All right. Thanks very much indeed, Samrat, for joining us from there. I wish we had a slightly better line to you, but thanks anyway for making the effort. Do most of you agree with that? That the other smaller parties in Meghalaya are likely to move towards the BJP?
Yes.
Okay, so rare consensus on one thing.
There is a tendency in Northeast of the smaller parties deviating towards the party which is at the center.
Sure.
Because there are a lot of things, funds, employment, mostly funds.
Right.
Because you see, if a rival government is at the state, then the funds stop flowing.
Right.
So in this case, I think despite Mukul Sangma being very resourceful, I think Himanta Biswa Sharma lands in, I wish you could have contacted him in Shillong. Things are going to change. Things
so the moment he gets there, you think everything is going to...
He is a very old hand in Meghalaya, in the northeastern state. He is very resourceful, he will manage.
Losing him was such a big disaster for the Congress, wasn't it? I mean, it almost seems like it's like a continuous process of
he has been
discovering
the
impact of that of that loss. And in fact, the Congress now in Meghalaya, I mean, this is the problem for it, that if it was closer, if it was 25, 26, then it probably would have been able to build up some momentum in its favor. But at 23, I mean, that's going to be a very difficult play, isn't it? Because you need to get, what, I mean, you at least need to get 7, 8 people to be to form a stable government?
8 people minimum.
I think
8 people, yeah.
We have to bear in mind, the smaller the party is, whether 6 seats or 5 seats, 4 seats, the more it becomes easier to break away. Then the anti-defection law doesn't come to play.
Right.
So the, two persons walking out, you form 1/3 of the.
Or you just come en masse. You can just come
and Meghalaya has seen this instability for quite long.
So
okay, so can I just get quick, because I'm told we have to go into a break, can I just get Shama for a quick word on that? That today, when you have, Shama, a situation where Himanta is going to be in Shillong representing the BJP, and you know, it could have been a very different situation where you again have a hung situation, but he would have been there as your man. So all these mistakes of the Congress, letting key people leave, coming back to haunt you again and again.
Yeah, I agree with you, Vasu, that we should work very hard. We have to be much more aggressive, and as I said, cadre, we have to strengthen our cadre. But right now we have our trusted lieutenants over there. Mr. Patel is there and Mr. Kamal Nath is there. I'm sure with them there we will form the government in Meghalaya. And also one other thing I want to point out, under Amit Shah and Mr. Modi, this is a party. BJP has become a party without an ideology, because anybody and everybody can join the party as long as we win the election, including Mukul Roy, including Hemanta Biswa Sarma, who was accused of a water delivery scam when he was with us, including Sukram, the only convicted congressman, including a Narayan Rane. So how are they going to run a non-corrupt government is what I don't know how it's going to be
mentioned
done.
Amit
So
Shah.
it's a party without ideology. Like I said, an election winning machine.
Okay, well, you spoke of Amit Shah and the election machine, and there he is on the screen. He is at BJP headquarters, and he's come out to wave to his supporters as he enters. A show of strength by him now in what has become almost a familiar pattern for the BJP, winning state after state. But interesting that the Congress party is talking about you know, an absence of ideology, because wonders what the Congress
we've always known Congress
own ideology is from time to time. But there are certainly some challenges, some points that she made about whether the BJP will now have an issue going forward with having to deal with so many contradictions and also having so many outsiders on board. We'll come back and ask you all of that in just a second from now. Welcome back. It's getting close to 3 p.m. and this is where we stand at the moment, that it is going to be a BJP Chief Minister in Tripura. Who would have thought that any of us would actually be even saying these words till about a year, 2 years ago, and now this is real. And Amit Shah there, you can see, making a victorious entry into the BJP headquarters. I believe he's going to be holding a press conference very shortly. We have a BJP alliance in Nagaland, that's for sure. And the only question mark remains of Meghalaya, where it still appears to be open. And we have now political managers of both sides who are in or on their way to Meghalaya. So my colleague Alok spoke a short while ago to the Congress's political managers, Kamal Nath and CP Joshi, who's the Congress in charge for these elections, and in Shillong, and this is what they had to say.
Well, Kamal Nath, a very, very senior leader of the Congress, is here now in Shillong, and we are trying to get a sense from him about what the Congress is going to do. And as I speak, Mr. Joshi also behind me. So, Mr. Nath, now that the Congress has stopped at about 21-22, that seems to be the sense. What is it that you are going to do to ensure that a Congress government stays in power here, sir?
Well, we are the single largest party, and the constitutional provisions and precedents demands that the governor call the Congress party for forming the government. We have adequate numbers, and we are willing to prove it. in any manner which on the floor of the House or which the governor wants. We have our associates who've already committed to us over the last 1 hour that they're going to stand with us.
Over the last 1 hour, you say?
Over the last 1 hour, so we are very comfortable in forming the government.
So who are these associates? Because if you look at the UDP or the PDF, there are many who are suggesting that their allegiance could be towards the opposite camp, sir.
Well, the BJP is stuck at 2. So let's, the BJP is trying to play with 2 seats out of 60. They are trying to play spoiler. Just shows the mindset of the BJP. And they are out of the fray. Now they are trying to create as much of mischief as possible. But we will ensure that democracy prevails. We will ensure that the people's will prevail. The people's will has been to vote the Congress party as the largest party by far, okay, in Meghalaya.
All right. Mr. Joshi, just one question to you before you leave, sir. As the in charge of this area, where are these numbers going to come from, sir? It seems a little difficult.
At appropriate time, we will demonstrate our numbers. Okay?
All right. Thank you, sir. So there you have it, Mr. Kamalnath and Mr. Joshi here saying that they are trying to ensure that the BJP does not play mischief, but where those numbers are going to come from, that seems to be a little convoluted right now. The situation certainly not clear. In Shillong, this is Alok Pandey, Ndtv.
All right, thanks very much indeed for that, Alok. So Kamal Nath and CP Joshi appearing to be confident. Kamal Nath, in fact, telling Alok that he's already got in touch with some people. But if I can just go to you, Shama, if you're still with us, Shama Mohammed from the Congress, that, you know, CP Joshi, who we just saw there, now, you know, we saw that the sort of comments that were made about him just, in fact, literally like a couple of days before the results, that one of your senior leaders in Nagaland actually saying that Mr. Joshi barely visited the state, he only made one visit, he should immediately be removed. And you know, yet there he is, still very much part of trying to now cobble together something in Meghalaya. I mean, is there going to be any accountability for the Congress's performance in these elections?
See, I don't want to comment on any General Secretary of the party, but I'm sure that there will be accountability. They will be checking into what all has happened over there, what cost us to lose these elections, I mean to even have this sort of thing in Meghalaya, where we should have won decisively. So of course they will be, we'll be introspecting into that, and the party will take a call on various things. And
but do you feel that Mr. Joshi at least should be asked to go?
This is the call, I'm just a spokesperson.
No, I know, but I'm saying accountability.
I'm not going to comment on this. I have told you in the beginning that let the party take a call on it, but I personally believe, this is my personal belief, that if there is anybody in charge of a state, they should eat, drink, breathe that state for at least 1.5 years to 2 years, and we have to work very hard when we have an Amit Shah against us, because he is 24 hours into this, into winning elections. So we really have to work hard, and it is because of there is fault in our side in certain areas, and we need to strengthen our cadres, like I said, and we need to be much more aggressive in winning elections.
Okay, what do all of you feel about now this very interesting face-off that's going to happen, or that's already happening in Meghalaya? On one hand, you have Kamal Nath, you have CP Joshi and Mukul Sangma, and on the other side you have Himanta Biswa. I mean, is he enough to take on all three? Or, I mean, you know, the Congress has fielded some pretty big names there. Is that going to make a difference at all in helping them cobble up numbers? So or you think Himanta himself is enough to handle all of them?
No, no, I think the key issue is, you know, there are 3 political parties which have less than 8 seats.
Yeah.
It basically means 2 MLAs walking away. So when any state like government formation takes place, there are 2 issues. One, what kind of ministries you are getting.
Right.
So it's not only the leader of the party to getting the ministries, but he has to also deal with the aspirations of his own colleagues. So this is where I think the Congress is in an advantageous position. I think if they are around,
because of the fact that they're the incumbent, you're saying?
Yes, because they are only about, if they are about 23 to 25, if they get into 25, they basically have to get 6 seats. And that's easier rather than, you know, trying to form a government where you have to bring almost all other parties together.
Right, and you're starting from scratch. Okay, we also have another guest with us who's joining us from Shillong, Ankur Jhunjhunwala, political analyst. Sorry, the same question to you, Ankur, that do you think that, you know, it's one thing to offer seats and ministries and all that, but personal equations as well make a difference. So does someone like a Himanta have a better chance of pulling together numbers rather than these Congress leaders who've been parachuted in from Delhi? Okay, we are having some audio problems with Ankur. We'll just come back to him in just a second, but you wanted to come in. Do you think Himanta is good enough to take on all of them? Because remember, the Chief Minister himself is, you can't rule him out.
Of course. As you've heard from the people on the ground already, all the regional parties, be it UDP or HSPDP, all of them are likelier to come along with the BJP rather than go with the Congress. That is basically their state right now, that they would prefer the BJP.
Right. Even a BJP with 5-6 seats. I mean,
yes, they would all be willing to come together along with the BJP is a scenario that a lot of regional parties would like. Okay. The Congress has accused the BJP of indulging in buying and selling, but that is at the end what they would have to do if the Congress party wants to form the government in Meghalaya.
Right. Okay, let's just, I think we have Ankur, do we have you back on?
Yes, I hope so.
Okay, we can hear you. If you heard my question, just go ahead.
Yeah, I did. And I think Himanta Biswa Sharma definitely has a better chance of pulling together a coalition. I think there are two reasons to it. One, because the other people who have come from Delhi, Mr. C.P. Joshi and Kamal Nath, they don't know the region as well as Mr. Himanta Biswa Sharma does. He knows it like the back of his hand. So I think he will be more comfortable in dealing with the other candidates or other MLAs who are now MLAs or candidates who have won. Second thing, which I think will work in BJP's favor, is that the BJP is already in the government at the center, and I think the regional parties, the smaller regional parties with very few votes, they will have a tendency to gravitate towards the BJP in a scenario like this. And anyway, they have defected from the Congress and fought the elections on a anti-Congress, anti-government agenda throughout. So I think it will be easier for them to cope up with the BJP.
Okay, so you are saying that Himanta has the edge in this, but just coming back to all of you about the challenges before each of these state governments now and what the main issues should be for these new chief ministers as they come in. As we just were discussing that in Nagaland, for example, there is still that big challenge of the accord, and we still don't have clarity on what the accord is, and even now we don't. But if you were to look at Tripura, for example, so now we'll have a BJP chief minister there. What do you think will be or should be his primary area of focus?
The primary area has to be infrastructure development. One, roads is very important. And secondly, taking care of the aspirations of the indigenous population of Tripura, which is represented by IPFT.
Okay.
And once if you take care of all this, I think you will give a very good developmental model.
Okay. Quickly to each of you, just focusing on Tripura, what would be a big challenge for the BJP chief minister there now?
The biggest challenge for the BJP chief minister is to implement the 7-pay commission when the state cannot generate any resources. In Tripura, where I come from, infrastructure is not the issue because Tripura has the best infrastructural facilities. The third issue with respect to fulfilling the aspiration of indigenous peoples, I mean, even if you are not going to grant them some kind of autonomy or forget about dividing the Tripura, it basically would mean giving more rights with respect to the management of the land. And now if you look at Assam today, the decision taken by the Bodo Territorial Council is not being liked by the BJP because the Bodo Territorial Council has decided that non-tribals cannot buy land in the BTC areas. So how are you going to implement that in Tripura?
When you have
because
a problem
70% of the population are Bengalis, even including in the TREC, Tripura Tribal Areas Autonomous District Council.
Okay, so can I just quickly get you to respond to that? I mean, just to start off with this pay commission issue, which more than one panelist has brought up, will the government in Tripura be able to implement that?
So the government in Tripura will be able to implement it. It is a challenge considering the state budget is limited and more revenue will have to be generated. But given the strategic location of Tripura itself, it can be a major transit hub and it can be a major cargo hub for the entire northeast. It's 30 kilometers from the port.
And the point about the the meeting the sort of the demands of this ally of yours who clearly wants to have not just autonomy but a separate state, how is that going to work? Given your own discomfort with doing that elsewhere.
So this demand and IPFT itself is a consequence of the CPIM completely failing the tribals and the tribals being disenfranchised from the entire mechanism.
Okay.
And now they've been brought into the mainstream, they're part of the political process. IPFT is an ally which has a voice in the governance of the state itself.
Right.
If their cultural, economic and social issues are handled well,
yeah,
then there wouldn't be such a demand. All of them are attached to Tripura as a state.
Okay.
It is just that they've been so marginalized by the previous government that they've resorted to such a demand.
Are you convinced by
no,
that?
I'm
Quickly,
not convinced.
Go ahead.
I'm not convinced in the sense what he said at the first part, that the state managing to generate its own resources through because of its strategic location. You see, we covering Northeast. I have been covering Northeast for 20 years.
Right.
You see, these I have been hearing these theories.
Right.
Opening the borders. For example, the central government of India is yet to announce the Northeast special industrial package,
right,
which is part of which is supposed to be the main attraction for the investors to invest in.
Right.
So unless the central comes in a big way, the 7th Pay Commission, they'll not be able to, take it from me, they'll not be able to implement.
The centre will have to come in
Center will have to come in a big way.
Okay, all right, Mr. Bora. We'll just take a short break at this point, and we'll come back and once again look at also interesting Tripura's repercussions outside of just Tripura. Could West Bengal actually be where the greatest impact is felt? In a moment from now. Welcome back to our live and continuous coverage of these big election results coming in from the Northeast. Those are live pictures from the BJP headquarters in New Delhi, where Amit Shah was just seen a short while ago waving and cheering to his supporters as he gets ready to celebrate yet another victory for the state, an emphatic victory in Tripura, a victory for its alliance party in Nagaland, and the party still very much claiming to be in play in Meghalaya as well. So it's turned out to be a big day for the BJP and a day of deep disappointment for the Congress, which has been reduced to virtually 0 in 2 of 3 now northeastern states and is desperately trying to hold on to its government in Meghalaya. But for the moment, let me just go across to my colleague Monadeepa Banerjee, who's been tracking whatever has been happening in Nagaland. But maybe Monadeepa, if you can just zoom back a bit and try to analyze these election results for us, not just from the point of view of Nagaland, but especially if you look at the decimation of the left in one of its last bastions in Tripura. What does it mean for your own state, for West Bengal? Because the tremors of this, I'm sure, are not just limited to the Northeast.
Well, just a couple of days ago, Mamata Banerjee, when she was talking informally to reporters in the assembly, she had said that, it is the hubris of the CPM that is going to be its undoing. She had said she actually wanted the CPM to win in Tripura. But Mamata Banerjee had herself defeated the CPM in West Bengal, so she probably had her finger on the pulse over there and knew what was coming in Tripura. So there you have the BJP in Tripura, and who knows, they will probably be looking west next to West Bengal. So the BJP really looking east. That has been one of the major policy thrusts of Narendra Modi in terms of development, in terms of connectivity, and now it seems politically too, the east, northeast is being sort of, what shall I say, run over by the BJP. I think the only non-BJP state left among the 7 sisters is out there in Mizoram, where the Congress is still holding on. For the BJP, very crucial to win in the northeast, definitely in Nagaland. There's Assam. Assam went, and then there was Arunachal, of course, was even before that, and now it looks like Nagaland too is going to go the BJP way along with NDPP. And Meghalaya, a state of uncertainty. What is interesting is right now, as we speak, I think Mr. Ram Madhav has arrived in Dimapur, which is where the airport is, and he's probably holding meetings over there to take the next step forward and see how government can be formed in Nagaland. Mr. Ram Madhav and his team have been here in Nagaland for almost a year, and they have made sure that they are making a huge dent. For them, it is an important state to win, Nagaland specifically, even Meghalaya really, Christian states. It looks good for the BJP, you know, that in Christian states too, they are in power. So this whole, you know, branding of being a Hindutva party, etc., that is diluted. So Northeast going to look very, very different indeed. One interesting point though that Mr. Rio had told me the last time I met him, and that he said, why are we so concerned about the BJP's huge presence in northeastern India? At one time, it was exactly the same with the Congress. The Congress dominated all the 7 sister states.
Sure.
So, you know, what's so different this time? And his solution to that was, basically northeastern states want to be with the state, with the party in power
center.
at the center, which is why we are seeing this huge shift.
Okay, and what a shift it is. Thanks so much, Monadeepa, for that. Before I go to panel, we also have some big interviews coming in. My colleague Snigdha spoke to Kiran Rijiju, who's again, you know, obviously he's part of the Union Cabinet, but also a very important part of the BJP's Northeast strategy. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Well, it's a saffron wave in Tripura, and I have with me MS Home, Mr. Kiran Rijiju, speaking to us. Sir, Tripura BJP has really taken over, and, you know, the left has really been kicked out.
Yes, because the left party, which had been ruling Tripura for such a long time, it was a tough game. But because BJP campaigned in such a way that our messages reaches out to the people, Prime Minister's message, Prime Minister's action, Prime Minister's vision was able to capture the mood of the people. Just 6-7 months back, nobody could imagine that BJP can defeat the left front in Tripura. So this is in a word, I can say that very, very historic, not only for Tripura, but it has a wide ramification for the whole country. The only next target is Kerala. So next Kerala, we will remove the left from Kerala also, because they have misruled those states.
So what about Nagaland? NDPP, you have an alliance with NDPP, but you say that you've also received a resolution from NPF.
Yes, we have electoral alliance with NDPP. We are very comfortable. BJP is winning good numbers of seats. I have just collected the latest data. We should be able to form the government. NDPP and BJP, we are alliance partners. But the present ruling government in Nagaland, the NPF, is also, you know, our, in a way, partner in the government, because BJP has 2 ministers in the present government.
But Meghalaya looks a bit dicey.
Meghalaya, because see, Meghalaya is a very unique case. All the political parties are anti-Congress, but every group fought in a different forum. There was no electoral alliance. BJP, HSPDP, UDP, NPP, these are all anti-Congress party, but all fought independently. I'm very sure Congress will not come back to power in Meghalaya, and along with our like-minded party, we should be able to form the government in Meghalaya. But one important point is, the 2 biggest political group in Meghalaya, NPP and UDP, they are already part of Northeast Democratic Alliance, that is an anti-Congress alliance led by BJP. So they are already part of our alliance. So we have no electoral seat arrangement in the election, but we are already partners in same platform. So there should be no problem in stitching an alliance in Meghalaya, which would be the non-Congress government.
All right, Kiran Rijiju, they're saying that no problem in stitching together something in Meghalaya as well. And also earlier, the outgoing perhaps Chief Minister of Nagaland spoke to my colleague Monadeepa Banerjee, but he says that he still thinks, and he is very open to the BJP forming an alliance with his party. Let's listen.
Mr. Zeliang, what is your equation with the BJP today? I mean, the BJP, when they joined hands with NDPP earlier this month, they said that we are still friends with NPF. We are not dumping them. Is there a chance of some kind of adjustment, understanding post the results?
You see, at one point of time, in the month of July, the NPF sabotaged with the BJP. But after I re-assumed office, we have revoked that sabotage with BJP. So our allies continue because 2 cabinet ministers are functioning under my ministry and 1 advisor.
2 BJP ministers?
Yes, 2 BJP cabinet ministers are under my ministry.
Mr. Zeliang, can I read this as a suggestion to the BJP that you are ready to make friends with them again?
Yes, we are continuing with the alliance, and we have not parted at any point of time. So we hope that they will come forward and join our government.
But they are in partnership with Mr. Rio, who used to be with you at one time but is no longer. Are you saying Mr. Rio will also come back?
That I do not know, but BJP, if they decide to join the government, we welcome, because we are all partners since 2003. But NDPP, it is just a newly established political party, which is yet to be recognized by Election Commission. So we have no ties with NDPP, and there was no discussion with NDPP at any point of time.
Alright, so the Nagaland Chief Minister there clearly indicating that the BJP is going to be spoilt for choice in Nagaland. It can choose to go with either, it will go perhaps with its ally that the one it fought its election with, or does it even want to go with the current regime. Also joining us on the panel, we welcome Pradip Bhandari, founder Baat, a polling agency who claims to have managed to get this entire election right. Is that what you said? All 3 states?
Absolutely, yes.
Tripura and Meghalaya, and as well as Nagaland?
Absolutely correct.
All right, okay. And also joining us is Radhika Khera of the Congress. Thanks very much, Radhika, for also being on the show with us. But if I could just ask you first, Pradip Bhandari of Baat. So when you say you got it right, were you sensing this extent of a wave in
Absolutely,
Tripura?
yes. Absolutely,
What was
yes.
your number? What did you
we
call?
quoted between 35 to 45 seats, and clearly the BJP alliance has got 40. In fact, the vote share is also correct. So, see, I had spent 35 days in the state.
Right.
I have travelled 52 constituencies personally. The team travelled 60 constituencies. So, it was hard groundwork, and this is the 7th time in a row we are getting an election correct. So, something which is very important in this election is that Khwai in Tripura, which is considered to be a no contest zone for CPM, is absolutely gone towards the BJP wave. Even in Bhandari, where this Chief Minister Manik Sarkar was considered to be winning, the margin has reduced drastically. So
And
for
did
the
you
first
also
time,
sense-
Shri, just once, for the first time in Tripura, you had an opposition on the ground. So that's where all the anti-votes had rallied behind the opposition, which was the BJP.
And what did you find of the Congress when you
Congress
went around?
Congress was
absolutely
not a
missing in
player.
action?
Congress was not a player. It had no cadre on the ground. It was not serious. Rahul Gandhi did just one rally, that is also on 16.
Right.
So Congress was a virtual party in Tripura, let me quote that. And in fact, a lot of Congress people offline told me, I hope BJP wins so that at least there is change. And there's nothing like a Congress vote there. Yeah.
Okay, Radhika Khera, would you like to respond to that the Congress was a virtual party, perhaps not just in Tripura but in this election as a whole?
No, to begin with Tripura, all our senior leaders, many of our senior leaders, we had Sushmita Devji, we had the Chief Minister of Puducherry, he was campaigning there, everybody was campaigning there, and our workers were also there on the ground. But yes, there was this issue that we were not actually on ground. Even there were some issues in the party, but we put up new faces. We gave tickets to new people from the Youth Congress, from the National Student Union of India, to build up the future leaders for Tripura.
Build up the future leaders. I mean, isn't that Congress has been there for years, though. So what are you talking about
Congress
building
was
up?
never there in the party. In fact, it had an implicit tacit alliance with the CPM.
Yes.
There's nothing like a Congress
people were
there.
saying that
There's
earlier.
an anti-left vote which went towards the BJP, and BJP was the first opposition. It had cadres on the ground, and you know, not even one senior leader of Congress had asked Mr. Rahul Gandhi. Mr. Rahul Gandhi campaigned and did one rally, that too on 16 when the polling was on 18. Compare that to Gujarat, where he was going every other day. So Congress did not take Tripura seriously.
Okay, that's just one point though that no spokesperson has answered very categorically, Radhika. So let me try to ask you that same question about why did Rahul Gandhi, who clearly seems to be becoming more proactive than earlier, just kind of concede this election or these state elections?
We tried our best to try and revive and make amends at the places where we had gone wrong. But like I said, now we took this opportunity. We know that we were not very strong, actually, the condition that was there. So
No, but why did Rahul not campaign there more? That's just my question is just simply on Rahul. Why did he not campaign there more?
He was there for one rally. The other senior leaders were also there. He was traveling to other places as well. He was traveling. He went to Meghalaya also. And but like I said, you know, actually what happens is in the northeast that the northeast states usually tend to go for the party that is at the center. So we
absolutely not. Ask them why did the Congress not get votes in Tripura for 25 years since when the Congress was in power?
All right,
no, wrong analysis.
Okay,
please. He's not accepting defeat.
Okay, just a second. Can I just ask you though that we keep making much of the fact that Rahul didn't campaign enough in the northeast? Would it have made a difference at all? Even if he spent more time there?
I mean, Congress didn't exist in Nagaland since 1998 when the government was formed. And Congress did not exist in Tripura since 1991 when the Narasimha Rao government was formed.
So it couldn't have been something that you just fixed overnight by parachuting there
if you look at it,
during the course of a campaign.
No, if you look at it, Congress has done exceedingly well because they actually held on to Meghalaya and they never had any... Look. If BJP, fair enough, but if BJP was so popular and if all the BJP cadres were performing miracles, then they would have won also in Meghalaya.
I think in Meghalaya, BJP very well knew that it is not the principal opposition. That's why it took a back seat and ensured that its alliance comes into picture. That's smart politics. If I know I individually cannot win the election, I will ensure that I get the coalition partner into
for the
picture.
Congress, because Congress wanted left front to win. Congress wanted left front to win.
No, but what about the past 20 years?
Okay.
Same thing.
The thing is that the BJP has been called a party of the Hindu heartland, but it's the Congress which has ignored the northeast if you look at it.
Okay, but let me ask you this though, Nigam, that you know the point that some Congress spokespersons were making earlier is that when you have this business of just importing so many people from the Congress, not just in the northeast but everywhere, and these are people who they don't have unblemished track record, then what does that make of where the BJP stands on issues like corruption and on issues of greater probity in politics?
I think they cannot dilute their stand on corruption. If they do, they'll have to pay the price.
Okay. But don't you feel that then taking on people
in that case,
who are then described as being tainted, doesn't that then put a question mark on providing an alternative? What's the change if you're just going to be rehashing the same?
Most of these people are gravitating towards BJP because they see some kind of a hope for their particular state.
But the BJP is not compelled to take them.
No, BJP is not compelled to take them, but at the same time, they need votes also.
Okay.
So this is vote politics which comes into play.
Well, in that case, then what's the change?
What I wanted to
say is... change is the core values remain the same.
No, it's a question
the core values of the BJP remains the same.
You can't take Congress imports and say suddenly they become,
the Congress, BJP core values. All I wanted to say is this. Hemanta Biswa Sarma himself is facing CBI inquiry under an instruction from the Guwahati High Court.
Okay.
So if you say that they have to remain the core issue of probity, it actually doesn't function at the ground level.
First of all,
right. Okay.
See, just one small point. I think BJP did not import people. There's nothing like a Congress cadre in Northeast is what I want to say. It's an anti-left cadre. BJP positioned itself in Tripura as the anti-left party where everybody aligned. That's where you
but like someone like a Hemanta would, I mean, he's a congressman. Right?
He was a congressman before, but he's a BJP man right now, so that's legitimate, right? What's wrong in that?
No, look, there's nothing wrong with any political party taking who they want, but then if you're going to take a moral high ground and say that we are going to practice the politics of ethics and corruption. corruption
you should
free,
accuse the BJP
but then you take people who may come from all backgrounds.
No, you should accuse the BJP of corruption in Northeast. If you find any of the cases, tell me any one case. If the government is in Manipur, the government is in Assam, I don't see any one case where any BJP senior leader or any leader in the state has been accused of corruption. So let it form the government. If that happens, so please quote me. Tell me where any leader is in government is found guilty. In government.
Okay, let him respond. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Please.
Will you listen to me?
Sure.
Ranjit Datta, minister in Assam government, was accused of taking 15% commission.
Accused. Has he been found guilty?
The party itself
you can accuse me of bribe today and say that I am corrupt.
When he was
found guilty, the basic principle of law is that accused is innocent till proven guilty.
You are acting more than a BJP man.
I am not acting as a BJP man. I am telling you the reality.
Wait, listen to me.
Okay, even if he is BJP man, that's fine.
No, I'm not BJP man. I'm telling you the reality. The fact is that you can't accuse a party of corruption till the time there is a case of corruption.
Listen to me. I am halfway through my statement.
Please.
He was summoned by the Chief Minister's Vigilance Corruption Unit. The Chief Minister next day, before the press, when he was asked whether a minister of his cabinet was summoned by the anti-corruption department, he said, yes, I have nothing to hide. He was summoned because he was found involved in corruption.
Okay. What's the final? Is he, has
no,
he been proven
they're
guilty?
investigating.
All right. Okay. We're getting sidetracked. We're getting sidetracked. We're getting sidetracked.
I think the real issue.
We're getting sidetracked.
You probably may not have heard about Ranjit Datta. Have you
I have heard, sir. I have very well heard. He's not proven guilty. Tomorrow you can accuse me in investigation.
Gentlemen, let's not hijack the panel. Yes.
I think let me add out here. The Congress knew about the impending loss. They shielded Rahul Gandhi from going there because it would have dented his image for 2019 elections.
Right.
So he has been, in a clever strategy, he has been shielded from the Northeast. But he has to take the blame.
Right. He can't completely avoid it. We're absolutely out of time. Last quick comments from all of you. Go ahead.
I just think that in terms of when you look at all three states, Congress was a non-entity in Nagaland before this election. It's a win-win for BJP, and the election is primarily about who's going to be Chief Minister, and it's to accommodate Rio. Meghalaya, I think the BJP hasn't done well based on the resources invested. They should have done much better. I mean, yes, they're allies, whatever, but they have not done well on their own. And Tripura, again, the Congress non-entity, BJP has done amazing.
Okay, all right. Very quickly, Shivam, a comment from you and then from the Congress panelist. Yes.
So I think one thing that's not been talked about is the hard work that the BJP Karyakartas and the leadership put in. The Congress still hasn't accepted that they haven't put in the hard work, and Rahul Gandhi ji still isn't here in the country right now. Like, he should have been here, he should have been standing with his people. If the party wants to revive, then what you need to learn from the BJP is hard work.
Absolutely. Radhika Khera, last comments from you before we go into a break? At least accept that there was an absence of hard work.
We worked very hard in Meghalaya, and as a result we will end up forming the government in Meghalaya. When, like I said, when it comes to Tripura, it's very hardly, well, you will see the result when we form the government. We have worked for the development of the Northeast. We have not fooled the people of the Northeast time and again, as the BJP has been doing.
Out of
like
the Northeast, you're left in one state.
The government which is in the center.
Go ahead, complete, Radhika.
At least we don't go around buying, at least we respect the voters, the votes that they have given us. We don't go around buying people out like you did in Manipur and Goa. So we respect the votes of the people. They voted for us in Manipur as well. They have voted for us in Meghalaya. We will end up forming the government in Meghalaya, and development will win over there. Yes, we were behind in Tripura. There were some mistakes, and we have worked hard to learn from them, and have put up a new faces over there, and will develop the party for the future.
All right, Radhika, thanks very much indeed for that. We'll take a short break, but much more coming up on NDTV with these big results. Stay with us.